Where have you been this week?
Well, this week I've been to Woking to see Mark. Now, it's the second batch of stock I've had from Mark. We had some Corgi trucks first, but this time we've come back with some Franklin Mint and late issue Yestayears and Matchbox collectibles. Now, models of yesteryear have gone through quite a difficult period over the last few years. The prices have really fallen away to almost nothing. But some of the later releases, the Matchbox collectibles, they've held up very well because they're actually extremely good models. And of course, Franklin Mint are always popular. They're the larger scale, usually veteran and vintage model cars with fabulous detail. And we'll perhaps have a look at some of those as well. And I think we've got a Bugatti Royale in here somewhere. And let's see if we can dig that out as we go along.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Now, this is an increasing feature of the purchases I make.
Hello Fresh.
Hello Fresh boxes. Yes.
Oh.
Those are Code 3 models.
Yep.
Now, all three of those are based on the 1922 Foden steam truck that Models of Yesteryear produced in hundreds of thousands. They produced them in the squillions. And they would have had something like Pickfords or Povis or something of that sort originally. Now, a number of years ago, a modeller who trades as AV Models made a set of these in Aldershot and District Traction liveries, and that's what these are. I'm really pleased to find them. We've had them a number of times over the years, and people really like them. They've repainted it to a really nice standard, but authentic looking Aldershot and District logos on the side and a nice load of logs in the back. Right, well, also in here we've got some of the see, that's a late release yesteryear. That's the Stutz Bearcat, which in the core range models is worth a couple of pounds. But that's a later one that's more finely made with better detail, and that's actually has some value.
Yeah.
So we're pleased to see that one. And this one is 1904 Merryweather fire engine. Very early self-propelled fire engine. But it's a very nice model.
They're nice. They've got a lot of great little bits of trim and detail on them.
We have. And if you turn them over, they're nicely detailed underneath as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They're not bad, these, are they?
They're not bad at all.
They're just abundant.
Well, they are abundant, but there's 24 in the series. They're not that hard to find. So if you're collecting, it's quite a nice collection to work on because, again, they're not massively expensive. Now, there's some more Matchbox collectibles over here.
Okay.
Oh, there's a big box. I like the big boxes. So let's see what's in this one. Again, this is the evolution of the Yestayear brand, where it ended up. And it ended up really rather nice. Oh, what's in here?
Doesn't look like it's been opened.
Doesn't, does it? Now,
Stars and Stripes forever.
Well, Stars and Stripes is the sort of house magazine for the US Armed Forces.
Oh, right.
And this is commemorating a centennial in 1997. It's a truck, and to me that looks a bit like a Freightliner. I think this one has a tilt cab. Oh, it does. I mean, the engine detail's not fantastic, but I suppose it's something. So let's see what else we have. And these are more of the Matchbox collectibles series, and they're quite enigmatic in that you don't get a picture on the box, it's just a number, and until you go digging you don't really know what's inside there, unless you're me and I've just been rewriting the Little Wheels Museum Matchbox collectibles section this week. I'm pretty well up on what's in these. So Fisherman's Wharf Mac, 1920 Mac AC. Mac AC model in the Models of Yesteryear range. He's a bit of a pug. It's not what you call a beautiful thing. and it was nicknamed the Bulldog, and it got that nickname during the First World War. The British soldiers called it the Bulldog because it was just so tough and it wouldn't stop.
All right.
And they couldn't break it, whatever they did. And so they gave it that name. And Mack adopted the Bulldog as their logo, and Mack trucks still have a Bulldog on the top of the radiator.
Oh, interesting.
Now, what they've done in the collectibles range is take what wasn't a very attractive model and actually made it into something really rather nice.
So we'll look at the front. Nice.
It is. Now, given that this grew out of the First World War, it has an uncanny resemblance to a Renault.
Yeah.
So it just makes you wonder whether Mack pinched their design off Renault, because there's no radiator grille, but it does have a cooling radiator which is placed there just in front of the firewall, which the old Renaults did. And on the Renaults you had a sealed in portion under the bonnet, and you had a great big fan which sat behind the engine and in front of that radiator that sucked air through and cooled the engine that way. I mean, the French have always had their own way of doing things, and that was absolutely Renault only, except for Mack, who just happened to spend a lot of time in France in the early part of the 20th century, so there's a coincidence. And the other thing being as well that those early Renaults were chain driven, which this is too.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got really an interesting one here. Let's have a look. It says large 1931 Bugatti Royale. Now, the 1931 Bugatti Royale was large. I actually think that they only made one, and it was Etoile Bugatti's own personal car. As I was saying about Franklin Mint, they come in boxes that were mailing boxes, and they come with an amount of paperwork. And here's a signed letter from the person at Franklin Mint. That's its certificate. If you're buying Franklin Mint, you want all this stuff because it's what gives it its provenance and gives it its value. A little bit of detail about the car.
Just a bit.
How you get it in and out of the box. And that's actually important because these are so fragile.
Yeah.
Now, is the other box going to come with the car? Oh, it is. Well, that's the voice of experience. Guess, of the two of us, guess who does all the unpacking? I think there's a TikTok video in this one.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Like a glove. Well.
It's some car, isn't it?
It's really nice.
Unfortunately, one of these rear door handles is actually broken off.
That's a pity. I'm sure it's in the box somewhere.
Not necessarily. And looking at some of the discoloration, say on the hood ornament here, it's been on display. So it's not perfect.
Needs a dust as well.
It needs a good dust. The wheels turn and the steering wheel is connected, as you can see. Spare wheel comes off. There's got some engine inside here. It's going to be a straight 8.
It's huge.
Yeah. They weren't necessarily built for fuel economy, these cars. But it is a beautiful car and a beautiful model.
It is.
I think we can safely say that that's the star of the show.
Oh yeah. How much would something like that be worth, do you think?
Well, in retail terms, it's got to be about £100.
Oh yeah. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
It's a lot of model for your money, isn't it?
It is a lot of model there. There's a lot of parts, a lot of detail. And of course it's got all its original provenance, which is really quite exciting. The original book price of that car when it was new, the full-size car was £24,000.
Oh wow.
And the last one to be sold made 7 million. So that's a Model T Ford, and in this box I believe this box here is the 1898 Benz, and that's just it in there. There's nothing else in there. Oh. I mean, that's about 12 scale. It's an enormous great model. And it says on the top in handwriting, 1886 Benz patent Motorwagen. I mean, this is one of the very first cars. We have
all the paperwork.
The paperwork, which is very important. So let's see what's in this here, shall we?
Let's have a look.
It says top, which is always a good start.
Yeah. Can't see much at the moment.
We can't, can we?
I'll tell you what, it's a lot of box, but not actually that much model.
No. And the scale's quite large. I think it's something like 12 scale.
Yeah.
Because the thing itself wasn't that big. But this is one of the very first self-propelled internal combustion engine vehicles. You'd have to get your fingers out of that flywheel, wouldn't you? There it is in all its glory.
Huh.
I don't feel very positive about that steering. There wouldn't have much cornering, would it?
Looks like a wrist breaker to me.
Yeah.
But look at the detail.
Let the chains go around.
Oh yeah.
And the flywheel goes round as well. And the engine turns too.
That's great.
Isn't it just lovely? That's a lovely piece of modelling.
Yes, it's really just a park bench with a motor on it, isn't it?
I think it's about that, yes.
I like the spring suspension on the seat.
But again, we have quite a stylish piece there, haven't we, from this collection?
That's a beauty.
It is a beauty. So Mark, your late father's collection has come to us and we appreciate it, we know what it is, and we'll be able to market it to people again who will appreciate it very much. And these will be appearing on the Little Wheels website in the latter half of August. So, and I'm guessing they might appear on TikTok between now and then as well.
There's a good chance.
There's a good chance.
Will you be back on the road again soon buying more collections?
And my next trip in the van is in 2 weeks, and that's to Colchester, where I'm bringing in the third piece of a collection of 1/43rd scale competition cars. We've already had 1,000 cars off this collector, and we're bringing in another 500. So his house is going to look a lot tidier with 1,500 cars gone. But when I was talking to him on the phone earlier in the week, he said, yep, that's the last of the cars, then we can start on the planes and the tanks.
Love it.
They never just collect one thing.
No.
And I'm pleased he's looked after them so carefully and they're in such beautiful condition.
Yeah, we love our collectors.
We love our collectors. So we've had a really nice day out today, going to pick up these models. I'm delighted with what's in the boxes, and alongside some American late 20th century competition cars that Dave brought me earlier in the week, we're going to have some really exciting products to show next week. So come back to the website and have a look.